At first glance, Alina seemed like just an ordinary receptionist. But don't be fooled. Hidden beneath the surface, she's a powerful warrior named Dao. People say the strongest adventurers have the best weapons. Today was just like any other day. Alina woke up happy and got ready for work. She loved being a receptionist. It's an easy and safe job. She gets to meet many adventurers every day, which is fun. Alina usually relaxes at work, but sometimes things get interesting. Today, she met an arrogant adventurer who thought he was better than everyone else. He acted important because he was famous. People paid attention to him because he was special. Alina stayed calm even though he was annoying. He came for a very difficult mission to fight a dangerous hellfire dragon. This mission was taking a long time, and his silver team wanted to show off. Alina asked to see his card, but he was lazy. He thought everyone knew him, and they did. But there are rules at work. Alina was a bit annoyed but smiled and asked him to hurry up. This would have taken much longer with someone else. Long ago, people in Hikasia had help from the gods, and adventurers built amazing cities. But then, monsters took over. Hikasia became a very dangerous place. To fight back, people started going into dungeons to defeat the monsters. The La family has been fighting monsters for over 200 years. Alina works for the biggest guild of adventurers, which means she sometimes has to work late. She hates working late and wants to be at home relaxing. But if she stops, there will be more work. Alina drank some water to feel better, but she was still bored. The reason for all the extra work was a terrible dragon. Adventurers kept losing to the dragon, so there were many forms to fill out. Alina got so angry, she almost wanted to destroy the dragon boss, so she wouldn't have to deal with the paperwork anymore. She promised herself to finish work on time tomorrow and avoid any extra work. The team fighting the dragon faced one of the strongest creatures in the world. They were very skilled, but they couldn't hurt the dragon. The arrogant man tried to attack, but the dragon's skin was too hard. He was thrown away and knocked out. The healer had to help him quickly. The mage tried to use magic, but it didn't work. The whole team had to run away before someone died. Alina, in her true identity as the strongest adventurer, appeared before the enemy that had forced her to work overtime for a month. It made her furious. She summoned the ultimate weapon, surprising everyone because no one there was old enough to create it. This powerful weapon was possible because of the complete program. Alina charged in without fear. She hit the dragon directly on the head, making it dizzy. The other adventurers tried to attack, but were easily avoided. They gave up and continued to watch the fight. The silver earning team was amazed. They couldn't believe how strong one person could be. The dragon knew it couldn't win in close combat, so it flew up to attack from above. It breathed fire, but it didn't hurt Alina. She jumped high and silently approached the dragon. Cursing the beast, she used the sharp end of her hammer. The hammer struck with great force, causing the dragon to scream in pain. The dragon rolled over and died. The captain realized this girl was the executioner, the mysterious adventurer who kills powerful bosses alone. The other members were shocked because solo players face more risks. After killing the dragon, it dropped rare and powerful items. Alina didn't need them. All she wanted was to stop working overtime. She glanced at the defeated team, and the captain looked shocked.
Hey there, darling. I know this is a new channel, but I really need your support. So please hit that subscribe button. It's just like joining a squad, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the fun. So come on, darling. Let's dive into more epic recaps together. Once again, please subscribe.
The next day, news of the executioner who defeated the boss spread quickly. Many adventurers admired her amazing fighting style. Layla, a cute junior, admired the executioner and asked Alina if she knew anything. Alina was startled and said she didn't know anything. Layla thought the executioner would make the silver earning team the best in the world. Alina was happy thinking about it. She didn't want to take any risks. She pretended to just like her job. If the guild found out she was secretly a powerful adventurer and using a fake license, she would be fired. As long as she didn't have to work overtime, she was happy. Being a receptionist was good enough for her. Why bother fighting monsters? The scene shifts to Jade, who was trying to find out the true identity of the executioner. He was very impressed with her strength and wanted to invite her to his silver team. But the guild information was limited, and he couldn't find anyone like the girl he saw yesterday. The others were surprised when the leader confirmed that the executioner was a woman. This was hard to believe, because the executioner moved so quickly while carrying a huge weapon. The leader said she had black hair and jade green eyes, and she was very young. The others said they have to recruit one member, because the one with attitude guy has left the group after that dragon kicked his ass. For which Jade said he needs some time and was so determined to invite Alina to his team. At noon, the group split up to buy things. The red-haired guy, Low Splendor, wanted to sleep. The other girl, Lululi, had to feed him. They ate and continued shopping. They tried to enjoy themselves because adventurers never know what will happen tomorrow, just like the battle with the Hellfire Dragon. If Alina hadn't appeared, the whole group would have been in serious danger. The pink-haired girl complained that her friend always slept and never went out. He explained that he studied magic diligently every night. Nearby, a young man was upset because people looked down on him. Suddenly, a stranger appeared and started plotting something. Jade still had the relic that Executioner left behind the previous day. He hoped to find her. This relic held a lot of power from a past hero. So many adventurers wanted it. But the Executioner didn't care about such things. She had a special skill for creating weapons, unlike other adventurers. It was probably a lost skill from long ago. Jade was thinking about this when Alina ran by. He recognized her black hair and green eyes. He followed her into the guild, where she worked as a receptionist. Alina was happy because today's work was easy. Then, Jade came over and greeted her. She knew something was wrong. The Silver Sword Captain was here because he had discovered her secret. Alina tried to act calm and asked what he wanted. At first, Jade pretended to be looking for someone who could use a warhammer. Alina was startled and tried to pretend she didn't know anything. But Jade is very observant. He saw her face at night and knew the hammer user with green eyes was her. Alina had to admit the truth, and she asked him to talk with her personally. She told him her life as a receptionist might be over. Jade returned the relic from the dragon. He said it was very powerful and often used as a weapon. Suddenly, Alina crushed the gem, scaring Jade. This was a warning. If he revealed her identity, he would face the same fate. Jade was terrified and didn't say anything. Alina knew she had to keep her life as a receptionist a secret. If anyone dared to destroy her peaceful life, there would be consequences. Jade was scolded like a dog, too scared to speak. He still tried to hold her hand, showing off his skills. Seeing this, Alina summoned her ultimate hammer to scare him. She didn't want her life as a receptionist to end. Jade asked where she got that powerful hammer. He thought it was a rare and lost skill. Alina didn't understand. It was a legendary weapon, very powerful but lost a long time ago. She refused to listen and went back to the original topic. He said he wanted Alina to join his team because she was so impressive. Alina wanted to punish him for being a pest, but she had to keep her secret. She might have accidentally hurt him. The only reason she killed the dragon was because of all the extra work it cost. She didn't want to be an adventurer. She explained the frustration of never-ending paperwork. She hoped to fight bosses to relieve her stress and get rid of the extra work. It sounds crazy, but Jade kept asking. Finally, he couldn't convince her to join his team. Alina warned him one last time that if he told anyone about today, he would be in serious trouble. She returned to the guild and immediately saw Layla. A rude man was asking her to give a secret mission. The threat scared Alina's younger sister, Layla. Alina also stood up to help, saying there was no secret mission. The guy didn't believe her. He was still angry, like he'd been bitten by a dog. He thought the receptionists were being rude. She thought in her mind that secret mission was made up by the adventurers, but it couldn't be true. Alina tried to stay calm and explain, but he wouldn't listen. That's an old man who doesn't like me. He grabbed her shirt and was going to hurt her badly, but then the goat appeared. Jade called this guy Slay. He told the man not to touch the receptionist because he was acting crazy. Slay rushed in and punched him, but then he ran away like a scared dog, saying he would get them back later. Layla was saved and felt relieved. Alina thanked Jade and said that if she had trouble again, she could ask him for help. He said that some people in every job get angry easily. He told her not to make others angry too much or something bad would happen again. Alina thanked him and asked why the captain of the Silver Swords helped her. Jade said it was just a coincidence. He said he was just passing by. He went home because he was scared that girl might hurt him. She wakes up worried every morning. She has been thinking a lot since she was found out to be the executioner. She thinks she should use force to stop that young man from bothering her. To feel better, she calls him Black Goat instead of Goat. Black Goat is an important person in the association, and if anyone finds out that she killed him, she could lose her job. She lies in bed and doesn't want to think about it. She wants to stay like this forever. She thought about how his receptionist job helped her buy a house. She was happy because going to work was the best part of her day. She couldn't let herself lose her job. She ate lunch alone in a secret place. Alina wondered what Jade was doing here. He was there and said the place was great, quiet, and had a good view. Alina stood up. She used a special skill to scare the guy away. He was so scared he said he didn't do anything. She told him off. She said this was her short break and she was having fun. Then he came and bothered her. Jade wanted to ask her how she learned that special skill, but she didn't want to say. She said she doesn't know how to use it yet. If luck is all that matters, then being a receptionist is a waste of time. Jade hoped Alina becomes an adventurer like him. She acted tough and said even if he stayed at work forever, he couldn't change anything. She absolutely refused to join his silver team. As she walked, she wondered why God gave someone like her, a receptionist, such amazing skills. This story started 2 years ago. The city was having a big festival for 3 days every year. During the festival, people from all over the world came to celebrate. Every time, Alina had to work late because she was new to this receptionist work. The new girl missed the first 2 days of the festival and had no fun at all. The girl felt trapped at her desk. She was determined to finish work that night so she could go to the festival. She knew that the festival was special. It was said that if you wished for something during the festival, it might come true. So she wished to God that she wouldn't have to work late. Alina finished some work quickly and hurried to the festival, feeling excited. Unfortunately, it was past midnight. No one was there to open the door. She felt disappointed. Tonight was the last day of the festival, and she missed it all. She tried her best, but she was the only one who had to work. She started to cry. She hated having to work late. She wished she had the power to destroy everything, so she wouldn't have to work late anymore. It seemed like God heard her wish, and she got those special skills. Flay is angry and wants to punish the receptionist for being rude to him. By chance, someone there caught a huge monster. Slay came up with a plan. Jade was trying to figure out how to get Alina to notice him. He was starting to like her and wanted to invite her to his team. Suddenly, he heard a loud bang. He ran to see what happened. The monster had caused a lot of damage to the city, and many people were in danger. Seeing this, Jade had to fight the monster. He used a skill to make the monster attack him. The other adventurers took the injured people away. They were worried that Jade couldn't fight the monster alone because it was a very strong monster. Jade was a fighter who took hits, not the one who caused the most damage. Jade was very happy because he also wanted to get back at the monster for what happened before. He fought hard. Slay was proud of his fighting skills. He was very good at fighting, but controlling the monster was a different story. He wanted to punish the silver swords and the receptionist and everyone in the city. Because someone was injured, the goat couldn't dodge the monster's attacks, so he had to stand and fight. Both sides used their special skills, but the heavy monster was starting to win against Jade. In the next scene, Alina said, "How come today there was so much work that she cursed her boss for making her work late?" The screams of the people could be heard from where she was. Alina realized that the annoying guy from the day before had caused the trouble. She was even more upset because he let the monster destroy everything by throwing rocks, and then she ran back to her nice house. She was crazy. Alina was worried about losing her house because she still had to live in it for 30 more years. She felt very unlucky. She used a powerful skill to kill that annoying guy. His name was Slay. The executioner suddenly rushed forward and cut off one of the monster's arms. He knew this was the person the association was trying to find. He thought that if he could kill this person, the association would be very sorry. Alina was angry because she lost her beloved house. It was her little paradise, and she was always tired from working late. Anyone who destroyed it deserved to die. So she used a very strong attack that cut the monster in half. The other guy didn't understand what was happening and was scared. He thought Alina was a monster. She tried to kill him, but she controlled herself and didn't kill him. In the evening, Jade went to Alina's house. He finally understood why the executioner was so angry. Alina was sitting in a corner, feeling lost, so he asked her to come stay at his house, but she told him he was crazy. She said she would find a place to rent. She also had to work late. The president of the association heard the news and immediately went to find the person they were looking for. He has special skills to find clues, so he was very happy because he finally knew who the executioner was. Alina didn't know anything at the guild, but they were reviewing her. In the next scene, Alina tried to send Jade away when he helped with the paperwork, but he insisted on staying because he was an officer of the association. He said he would help her because she saved the city that morning. He told her to stay that day. Usually, she would have to work late if she had a lot of work, so she had to finish her work today so she could go home early. Jade saw this and tried to help with some paperwork, which surprised Alina. She thought he was very smart, even better than someone who had worked there for a long time. She felt a little unfair. Jade said she helped him understand the work easily. He was going to give her some sweets to cheer her up, but she suddenly showed me a pearl that was broken. When he looked inside, he saw a mission written on it. After he read it out loud, a hidden mission board suddenly appeared. This was the first time they saw this thing. The location mentioned was the chalk tower. It was white, and they had to destroy all the monsters on each floor. Both Alina and Jade found it strange, but Alina didn't care and continued with her work so Jade could do the mission. If she joined, it would interfere with her work, so Alina didn't want to go. The next day, news about the executioner was everywhere. Layla came to tease her to see if she was the executioner. Alina was surprised. Luckily, Layla thought that Alina was a big fan of the executioner like her, and said that the executioner was definitely a man. Layla said she wanted the executioner to hit her and make her pregnant, which made Alina speechless and annoyed. Then the president of the guild appeared. The president walked up to Alina and asked her if she knew what skills he had. She said, of course. She remembered that he could stop time to see what happened in the past. After that, Alina felt something was wrong. This old man came to find her, so he must have seen what happened yesterday in the square. The president knows that his staff is trying to hide the executioner's identity. Alina felt like the sky was falling down when she was called to the headquarters to meet the Silver Swords. They were also there to comfort the goat. They said the president was evil but easy to talk to, so Alina shouldn't worry. Alina thought he was a snitch, but she didn't do anything. She was so angry that she cursed him. She had never cursed anyone before. Her teammates felt sorry for her. She said some bad words to Jade. He was heartbroken, but his teammate were making him feel worse. How could he bear it? When they found out Alina was the executioner, they were surprised because she looked like a normal receptionist. Later, when everyone was there, they sadly asked him what she wanted. The president was surprised like everyone else. The president was very shocked. He realized that the staff at the guild were very strong. He wanted to fight Alina to see how strong she was. The condition was, if he won, she would have to join the Silver Sword. However, if Alina won, then the association will to stop trying to capture the executioner and promise that no matter what she did, she will not be losing her receptionist job. Hearing this, she finally had a good reason to use the legendary hammer, especially since the other two people thought the person in front of them was truly the dangerous executioner. Alina was very grateful because she wanted to solve everything. With all her strength, she rushed to restore the peace she had, but her opponent stopped her. He realized that this girl wasn't just the executioner anymore. She was like a demon. Before he could do anything else, the special power that made his ability work was suddenly broken. This was unbelievable because Alina was still able to break the timeline. He explained that this was a special skill he could only use in this observation room, and only people with special abilities were supposed to be able to move, but she was somehow breaking through the rules of this dimension. It was truly an illusion. Because of this, it was clear who won and who lost. He didn't want to fight anymore. Alina was confused. She didn't understand anything, and she asked him to explain. Going inside, Glenn said he just wanted to test the strength of the little receptionist. He explained that the guild leader had a very powerful skill called Rejim, along with another strong skill called Suz, and these are both very high-level abilities. But Alina's skill was even more terrifying. That's why she could easily defeat her opponent's attack. In other words, they were able to confirm that Alina's skill was incredibly powerful. So, they didn't care what her skill actually was. She asked them to keep their promise. What does it have to do with me anymore? She thought, and then she left the guild. The guild leader saw this and mentioned the White Chalk Tower after receiving a report from Den and sending someone to investigate. The guild found that this place was indeed a new and dangerous dungeon. No one knew that the order from the ancient relic was a secret mission that the ancient people had hidden. This also meant that in the near future, her work would be much busier because she would need to join the team to explore the dungeon. The old man scolded her and said that this would cause many more quests to come to the guild, and it would also make her work overtime for a very long time. She complained about this and then started to cry because she didn't want to work overtime for so many days. Hell is about to begin, she thought. Hearing that he understood why Alina became the executioner to avoid overtime, Glenn also confirmed that it was true. So, he felt a little guilty. But every job has its challenges. Glenn wanted her to go on a special mission to earn a lot of money. The reward would be very generous. At first, she refused, asking the old man if he was going to break his promise, and if she would be extremely busy when she got there. Who could go? The president continued to suggest that he would increase the number of people working at her counter. If there were 2 people helping her, it would obviously be much faster. Hearing that, she secretly thought to herself that from now on, no matter how busy she is, she won't have to work overtime alone anymore. So she agreed to the deal. Finally, my dream of going home early every day has come true. However, I have to make him keep his promise not to let me work overtime anymore. Also, because she didn't have a house yet, that day she slept in Silver Swords Inn. Everything was much more splendid than her room. In general, there was nothing to complain about, especially being able to sleep a little longer. Looking happy, Then Goat came to call her. Later, their temporary team was established. Lululi also introduced herself as a white mage who specializes in long-term healing and would be in charge of the backline. With the title Dark Mage, Low Splendor is good at long-range attacks. Alina told me that the receptionist would take charge of close combat, so everyone went together to explore the new dungeon. The other two felt that Alina is bored and depressed, asked her, and found out that today, she had to use her leave to go on duty. Seeing that Jade said, it only took a day, there was no need to make that face, and the result was still being scolded. That is the reward of a salaried employee like me. It is as sacred as human rights. So the captain was just grabbed by the neck and brainwashed. Luckily, the other two people noticed the chalk tower and continued to move forward. Before entering Dungeon D, they gave Alina a ring. It was a relic reserved for their silver swords. It was like every time a teammate was in danger, the crystal would glow for a long time. Low Splendor teased that this thing could be sold for a lot of money, but the result was getting hit to his balls by Lululi, and she said that it would be like selling the friendship of the sword. Because this was the first time Alina fought with teammates, it was also mentioned. Remember, at first, I was a tank, so I was in charge of attracting attention from the monsters on the first floor. They had to face a huge wolf that also knew how to use weapons. This felt no different from the boss of the first floor. The captain also stood up to do his job, provoking the opponent. His skill could block almost all attacks. Taking that opportunity, Alina rushed in and slashed the monster, then logged out. She innocently said that, so this is a team fight, making the other three helpless. In fact, from the beginning, maybe letting the little girl attack would have been faster than the two mages who hadn't even had time to do anything. Feeling excited, Lululi ran to compliment her friend on how good she was, but she was still considered a child. She angrily told her that she was an adult. The four of them continued walking and realized that there was no boss on the first floor. This had never happened before. This should have been a long time ago. Also wondering what the ancients who set this mission were thinking. I wonder if Alina asked if the creators of the dungeon had disappeared, right? Lululi called it the story of the ancients' wrath. They always sought great power, but eventually faced the wrath of the gods and were destroyed. This is just a story. No one has confirmed the real reason. This caused the ancients to disappear immediately. Then they heard the cries of humans and immediately ran in to see this scene. Loyal tried to recover but couldn't because the three people were dead. This scene reminded Alina of a story when she was a kid. Seeing that, Jade advised her not to look. Analysis showed the attacker was incredibly strong, piercing the gladiator's shield and killing him instantly. Luckily, Armorus, another gladiator, survived. He's as strong as Jade. He said a humanoid monster appeared, and he knew how to use the Dya skill. Then, a demon attacked but was instantly destroyed by Alina. Seeing this, the other guy realized this was the executioner and smiled, calling out, "Alina is a monster," as she summoned a white magic circle and weapon. Hearing this, Jade guessed the enemy was using the same technique as his friend. He returned to the guild and reported this to the guild leader. Since Jayap's team, ranked just below the silver sword, was completely wiped out, there was a high chance the monster was using a legendary skill. Knowing it was too dangerous, the guild leader planned to stop it. Russ was furious and told them, "You should abandon that weak style and still want to continue even though you've experienced despair." But he didn't accept it, saying from the beginning he didn't like Alina because the person who truly deserved that title was him. He threatened to spread rumors everywhere, calling the executioner a monster if they didn't let him join the team to conquer the White Chalk Tower. This guy clearly wanted to obtain a powerful, strange object, which would give him Dya skill. It turned out that before that, the mysterious masked man also gave him information about the secret mission in the deepest part of the tower, where a special relic was sleeping. It's highly likely that a Dya skill. Jade agreed to it, because he was afraid this would affect Alina's life. Jade informed Alina that from tomorrow onwards, she don't need to go with them anymore. She would return to work as a receptionist, and of course, all the previous arrangements would be kept. Hearing that, she realized the story was not normal at all. But never mind. As long as I don't get work overtime, Alina thought. This is probably the last time I get to sleep in this room. I'm so helpless. Who will chase me away? Jade even complimented her on her beautiful clothes today. It was too normal. She was wearing a uniform. So the young man also felt lucky to be complimented for being beautiful. So she was embarrassed and kicked him out. However, she felt quite uneasy and asked if he really didn't need her help. According to the story, then the humanoid monster used its skill to go, but he told me he had to go because that was the silver sword. They also told Alina that if by any chance something happened, everyone would try to escape. They assured the silver sword would return safely and told the little girl she could use this place as she pleases until her house is repaired. Seeing the silhouette of that boy leaving reminded her of the heartbreaking story when the little girl was close to an uncle who was an adventurer. Alina grew up to the point where she wanted to join his party and even declared that she would become invincible. He was also the one who gave advice, telling the girl to go work as a receptionist because it was much more stable and safe. Alina herself was also born as a cutie, which was extremely suitable. She refused to ask, and he promised to let her join. But one day, unfortunately, he died, making her sad. She considered that promise. At that time, she tried to wake him up but couldn't. Alina cried in despair for days until she woke up and found herself crying because she also had that dream a long time ago. So she hoped that the others would definitely return safely from White Chalk Tower. At this time, Jade was exhausted from having to stand up and use his continuous search skills to avoid meeting them. Rufus looked down on him, making his two younger siblings angry, but they were stopped by Jade so they wouldn't mess with this annoying guy. After they set foot in the room, finally, they smelled the scent of blood. He just lit a little then discovered the humanoid monster. He called himself not a monster, but demon god Siha. His skill is called Storm Earth, and he created a spear that was thrown straight at Jade. He reacted in time to block the attack, making Siha excited. Because there would be an interesting battle, Jade was about to retreat when the three of them were locked up by that bastard. It turned out this guy wanted to acquire Dia's skill, sacrificing their souls to the demon god. The death of 3 adventurers the day before was all done by him with the purpose of resurrecting the demon god and then stealing his weapon. He was laughing like he was having a good time, but was stabbed to death suddenly. Whoever entered Siha's sight was prey, and thus the soul of the wicked was absorbed. However, the taste was too bad, considering it dirty and lowly. Wanting to know if the souls of the other 3 were like that or not?
Hey there, darling. I know this is a new channel, but I really need your support. So please hit that subscribe button. It's just like joining a squad, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the fun. So come on, darling. Let's dive into more epic recaps together. Once again, please subscribe.
On one side, Alina was still working hard as usual. Occasionally, she would look at the pendant which Goat gave and wonder if they were okay. The devil had started his attack, and they knew he was very strong and moved quickly. Even though he was hurt, he still used magic to fight. He thought it was just a game, but he was defeated. Loyalai used a healing spell on the captain to keep him from getting badly hurt. Siha threw a javelin, and it broke a piece of the shield. Luckily, the captain healed quickly, and the opponent was surprised by how fast he healed. The opponent wanted to take that ability away. Siha used his mind to take away Loyalai's powers. He even took her staff using a mirror, but he didn't hurt her right away. She got upset and tried to use her skill, but she failed. They looked at the mark on his neck, and it looked like an old thing. The demon was probably made by the ancestors long ago. He didn't want to fight anymore, so he used a powerful spell to make 3 swords that could go through armor. If they fought him directly, the 2 younger brothers would surely die. So, the captain said he would fight the demon alone while the others ran away. Lo didn't want him to do that because the captain would die. So, Jade tried to make the demon angry and challenged him to a fight. Siha laughed and used his special power to fight. Usually, they would use this move with Loyalai's healing, but since she couldn't heal them anymore, they had to try their best. As expected, the Earth's power was very strong. The sword went right through Jade, and the 2 younger siblings were worried. But the captain of the Silver Sword didn't fall down. He told Siha to attack freely and said he would take all the hits. He was very tired because he trained with Alina every day. He looked towards Lo and told them to hurry. Lo grabbed his friend's hand and ran outside before everyone died. Loyal screamed but couldn't do anything. The demon didn't chase them because he thought the goat was alone now. The captain didn't care about himself. He wanted to give them more time to escape. The demon was very excited when he saw how strong the captain was. He thought the captain's soul would be good to eat. Outside, Loyal scolded her friend. She didn't want to leave her teammates, but staying there wouldn't help either. The captain gave his life so she could escape safely. Loyal fell down and couldn't stop crying. Suddenly, a big and scary monster appeared, and it put them both in danger. At the guild, Alina and Lyra were working late. This was what the older people in the guild decided. From now on, the younger sister would help the older sister. If she worked quickly today, she wouldn't have to work tomorrow and could rest. Alina gave her a can of energy drink. Lila said it was delicious, but also tasted like working late. The little one also said that the guild had given up on finding the executioner, and that they were now a big fan. Lila really wanted to meet the person she admired. She also hoped the executioner could join the association to earn money and be as respected as the goat. Suddenly, she noticed something glowing in her pocket. Lean asked what it was. Alina took it out, and everyone praised its beauty. "It's just a glowing stone," the pretending girl said. Then she remembered the goat's advice. He had run away because everyone was in danger. The image of her dead uncle appeared again, urging Alina to act. In the dungeon, Siha continued to create more swords after blocking the first 3. Getting stabbed meant he would surely die. He thought to himself, Alina was born. He knew she would get angry if he said that out loud, so he kept it to himself. Since he first met her in the dungeon, he had admired everything about her, including her fighting style, her tired eyes after working late, and her angry expression. He wanted to see her more, so he tried to make the demon attack him. Outside, she finally reached the teleport gate, but was stopped by the guards. They said that place was only for high-level adventurers. The situation was urgent. Alina couldn't delay any longer. Even though she didn't want to reveal her identity, she had to use her special skill. She became a receptionist because she didn't want to face the danger that killed her uncle. She didn't have to save those people, but her conscience bothered her, so she decided to help. The soldiers' weapons trembled. This was the executioner Alina, and she warned them that anyone who tried to stop her would be killed. The 2 younger siblings were no match for the monster. They were just magicians, and no one could protect them. Lo was quickly defeated, and Lululi cried until there were no more tears. She was chased away. She was like the captain. No matter what, she couldn't die. She didn't want to be like that. Luckily, Alina arrived and killed the monster. She gave her friend an energy drink, and they told her to go save Jade. They told her that her opponent was the demon god Siha, who had the same earth magic powers as her. Alina assured them that she would bring the young man back safely. Seeing Jade's body there, she felt sad. She felt like he had lied to her when he promised he would return alive. While trying to wake Jade up, the other guy threw a spear at her, but she dodged it. Siha was surprised and praised her. It was strange to realize that this was the demon god who had hurt everyone. Alina decided to stay calm. She activated Earth Demolition and sent the demon god flying. But it wasn't enough. Siha, impressed by a human who could use magic like him, switched to long-range attacks. He used Final Judgment, summoning many swords aimed at Alina. She dodged them all but still fell down. Luckily, a jade caught her before Siha hit Alina. He wasn't dead yet, which impressed the demon god even more. This young man was very persistent. She took the chance and stabbed the demon god in the head. She saw rocks burying the demon god and went to see if Jade was okay. He said he just fainted, not died. He heard someone calling his name, and it was her. This made Alina feel lonely, and she cried. Seeing the young man weak, she didn't hit him but gave him the energy drink. Jade was very excited and hugged her. Surprisingly, Siha stood up like nothing happened. He was shocked that a human had beaten him, but he had already stolen her healing ability, so it was okay. The goat told Alina to finish him off in one hit, so he couldn't heal. Siha said Alina was as strong as the creators. He said that if that was all she had, she wouldn't have one before he killed everyone. This made them realize that the ancestors were destroyed by the demon god, not just gone. Siha said the weak would be eliminated immediately. He created hundreds more swords aimed at them. The goat wanted to protect her, but had no weapons. He planned to use his body to shield her, but she wouldn't let him. Even a strong warrior couldn't survive that many attacks. Alina said she was determined to finish the job and go back to work. She broke through the siege and rushed to another place, attracting all the swords towards her. She dodged most of them, but there were too many, and she was still hurt. Remembering her wish for a peaceful life, she knew she couldn't lose. Alina increased her power to the maximum, shocking Jade. She rushed forward at an amazing speed, frightening the demon god. He was afraid she would blow him away again and couldn't do anything. He couldn't believe he was losing to a human. He was angry and tried to end everything by creating thousands of swords. He thought Alina had nowhere to hide, but she didn't care. She said she would bring everyone back safely. 1,000 swords stabbed into her, but she was fine. In this state, Alina's defense was very strong, almost impossible to hurt, but it scared Jade. Siha was terrified when he saw her yellow spell. In the end, she cut off one of his hands. Siha couldn't believe that a human could defeat the almighty demon god. Alina wanted peace, so she killed him. The Silver Sword captain was shocked. Even the ancients couldn't defeat Siha, but she did. He said there were many people like her in the world, so the story wouldn't end there. Alina saw that he was talking too much and didn't want to listen anymore. TNG said that, and the relationship ended. Then she said, "Why don't you let him finish talking?" She said, those are the things I want to say. Anyone who stops him from returning on time must die. He was so scared that he wouldn't dare to bother him again after he retrieved the demon god's black stone. The two younger siblings were happy to see them return. "We're all alive now thanks to Alina," they said gratefully. They all thanked her, and she was happy, but still annoyed that they had to interrupt her work. It was good to save the day, but she would have to work overtime for a few more days. However, she was happy that she saved everyone's lives. A few days later, Lulu Lee's skills returned because the demon god was destroyed. The little girl used her skills to heal her two teammates. MH thought he would be expelled from the guild after his identity was revealed. Luckily, the guild master quickly silenced the soldiers, and everything returned to normal, but they still had to work overtime. While working, Jade came and called her familiarly. She said she was very busy and couldn't talk. He knew that, but he wanted to help her finish quickly. Alina was worried that he wasn't fully recovered yet. After yesterday's incident, he seemed much more energetic. When asked, he smiled and thanked her for the energy drink. She told him to die and then changed her mind. She asked him to help her work overtime so she could go home early tomorrow. He happily agreed immediately because there's nothing better than being with the person he loves. A few days later, Alina finished her morning shift perfectly and was thinking of treating herself to a famous hamburger for lunch when an adventurer arrived. He said he had an urgent mission, so he came. Alina thought that maybe being a minute late wouldn't be a problem. She was annoyed but didn't dare to scold him. She struggled with herself, wondering if she should refuse. He also urged her to hurry up and finish the paperwork, which made her even more upset. But in the end, she had to agree. It was already late when she finished, so Alina had to sit down and eat right there. Layla asked her sister why she didn't just say no. Alina explained that if she got complaints from people like that, it would create even more work, so it was best to just deal with it now because the once-a-year festival was coming soon. Alina wanted to work efficiently and have free time. For the past 2 years, she hadn't been able to go to the festival, so this year, she was determined to go, no matter what. Layla, who hadn't been before, asked a lot of questions. Alina told her that it wasn't just a lot of work, it was incredibly busy because, during the festival, the rewards for completed tasks was doubled. Most adventurers take advantage of this opportunity to find track. Those who are usually hidden and rarely appear will come in groups. Layla knew the result of this, and it made her scared. Luckily, in the past 2 years, Alina had learned a lot and even written it down in a notebook. She had also scheduled 3 days for the festival. The first and second days would be spent eating delicious food that she normally didn't get to enjoy. On the third day, she would participate in the memorial service that marked the end of the festival. Layla saw how much effort her older sister put into this and admired her greatly. Alina encouraged herself, saying that this year, she would definitely return on time for all 3 festival days to enjoy everything. The scene shifted to the Silver Sword Squad's residence. Loyal was wholeheartedly taking care of 2 injured teammates after the battle with the demon god. Suddenly, he saw her pull out a tree that could scream, and then process it to get a colorful mixture that looked like poison. She brought it to Lo. He had nothing to do during this time, so he was a bit bored. He really wanted to go back to work, but his body hadn't recovered yet, so he couldn't. The lovely girl came in and saw this scene and scolded him. He said he was resting, but what was he doing? He said he didn't know and that his wounds didn't hurt anymore, so he was fine. In the fight, his ribs were broken and had stabbed into his lungs. Luckily, he had recovered in time. Otherwise, he might be dead. Loyal brought out the bottle of the mixed drink and asked him to drink it all. Seeing it, he was scared. He asked why it looked even worse than yesterday. His friend smiled and said it was okay. She even drank some herself. Hearing that, Lo tried his best and drank it all. It felt like he was dying and coming back to life, but it actually helped. Loyal was very happy because she was the only one who could make it like this. She hoped that he and the captain would take good care of themselves today. In the next scene, Alina was able to go home early again, putting her in a very good mood. The bakery was still open, so she stopped by to buy something, telling herself that this was a reward for her success. There were many different treats inside, so she bought a little bit of everything and brought it home. When she got to the last strawberry cake, Loyal was surprised and wanted it too. Because they had been close friends since they started working together, Alina gave in. Overall, going home early made her very happy, and she didn't want a cake to ruin her good time. Feeling good about getting home on time, she felt a little guilty for taking the last cake. She smiled and said it was okay because they were both girls, so just enjoy your happiness. So the pink-haired girl happily ate the cake. It was indeed delicious. Loyal said that she understood why Jade was so crazy about her. After hearing that, One of them almost choked. The other one confided that they often came here because it was the best sweet shop in the city. Loyal agreed because it had been around for a long time. She really liked eating grape jelly at this shop. Since he was recovering from an injury, she ran to buy it for him and also went in to eat. Hearing that, Alina praised Loyal for being so thoughtful, always thinking about her teammates. This made Loyal uncomfortable because during the White Chalk Tower event, she almost let 2 teammates die, and if Alina hadn't arrived on time, they would have been in danger. Seeing that the conversation was getting too serious, she immediately changed the subject, urging Loyal to eat quickly so her food wouldn't get cold. Now the 2 girls were leaving happily. Suddenly, Alina was approached by Jade, who thanked her for being friends with Loyal. Alina realized that he seemed to be following her, so she was a little annoyed. He smiled and said that he had hoped she would visit the injured person at least once, but it never happened. It took forever to finish all the work, so she didn't have time to go. Besides, Alina had moved out of the Silver Sword Inn, which made the young man quite sad. He thought that their old house was still the best. If it was fixed up, why did they have to stay in such an inconvenient place? Meanwhile, Loyal saw people putting up the festival flags and thought it looked fun. She hoped to go with everyone this year. Just then, a red-haired guy with a frowning face came out and looked at her with an unpleasant look. The next morning, there were only 10 days left before the festival. Alina and Layla worked hard because the rush before the festival had begun. Layla wondered if Alina was in love. Normally, only new couples looked forward to the festival and went out together. And the 100-Year Festival was considered a super classic dating event in the city. Everyone knew that. Alina was surprised because she had just heard about this. Layla knew that she wanted to go out alone, but she thought it was a bad idea. Because everywhere there would be couples cuddling each other, why would she suddenly go there alone? Alina thought that there was nothing wrong with enjoying the festival by herself. After listening, Layla concluded that her senior was really amazing. This was probably the end of her master-level overtime work. Now, Layla burst into tears and said that she also wanted to go with her, but unfortunately, she had an appointment that day. She asked Alina if she was curious about the other person. Alina said no. Then Layla said it was the executioner, which shocked Alina. She was worried, thinking maybe Layla was being tricked, but Layla took out a mini version of the executioner and said she would go out with him because she admired him so much that she spent a lot of time showing off her skills. She added that if she took off his hood, she would see the handsome face she imagined. Layla urged her to hurry up because it was almost time. Suddenly, outside, there were many footsteps. It turned out that hundreds of adventurers had run to the guild at the same time, making Alina freeze. After finishing the pile of paperwork, all the receptionists collapsed. They were so tired that they didn't even know why. This happened because recently, there weren't any good rewards for adventurers. To understand what was going on, Alina ran to ask her superiors immediately, because if she didn't solve the chaos like today's, her 3 days of fun at the festival would be ruined. The scene changed to the silver earning team, who were currently practicing. They were training with a new member, Sybil, who was very young but had good close combat skills. He was important to the team's goal of earning enough silver to return to their previous rank. Sybil rushed at the monster and attacked it without fear. He hit it once and then turned around to celebrate. The other 3 praised him, saying he was indeed the #1 young attacker. As soon as they finished speaking, he was knocked away by the monster and flew through the air. Jade defended him and asked Loyal to heal him. However, after the previous day's events, she was still a little shaken, so she was a bit slow. Sybil, still hurt, rushed in again without waiting for his teammates to distract the monster. As a result, the wolf knocked his weapon away. Seeing this, he groaned helplessly. Suddenly, the executioner appeared. With just one small strike, he cut the monster in 2. The training session ended. He walked over aggressively. He grabbed the Jade's neck and said that he had something to discuss. The other boy thought it was so cool that she defeated the monster with 1 strike, but he was disappointed that he only managed to inflict a scratch. Feeling disappointed in himself, he refused to join the silver earning practice, thinking he wasn't good enough. Jade also guessed the reason for the adventurers flocking to the guild. Alina complained, saying, "Do you know how hard I've been working since morning?" Mr. Glenn had to come out and apologize. He then told her the reason why the adventurers flocked to the guild. Someone had spread the news about a mission that could get a special relic skill. It was highly likely that this relic was a special skill, so everyone lost their composure. Everyone wanted to possess a powerful ability like the executioner. Hidden within this situation, the main danger was the possible revival of the demon god, like the day before. Jade promised to do his best to find the person who spread the rumor and, at the same time, make an official announcement that the mission was fake so people could calm down. Hearing that, Alina also calmed down and asked him if there was any new news. He said he would come and tell her later. Jade met Loyal to talk and asked about the reason why. While practicing, the little girl hesitated. Not like usual at all. The pink-haired girl pretended not to know the new person and also thought that the tree wasn't suitable for long-term use. So she brought the same kind as the day before when the demon god scratched it. This was a gift from them to their teammate so that the little girl could feel more secure in her role. In the past, Loyal also took the trouble to take care of it and received thanks from the two little teammates, making her extremely happy. At the moment, Alina was still working hard even though it was lunch break. Layla asked and found out that if she didn't work overtime now, she wouldn't be back until night. The little sister asked if it was possible to adjust the assigned tasks, like using some clever tricks to listen to the adventurers' stories a little. Next time, they would be more considerate. For example, Alina refused, saying she didn't want to play tricks like that to earn money. At night, the guild leader talked to Alina about the case of the guy Jayap last time, and this time. It seemed like it wasn't a coincidence, but someone was behind the plot of everything. There was a high possibility that in the near future, many people would have to die and offer their souls to help the demon god revive. Alina was trying to work overtime, being bothered by these guys who were also scolding and cursing the goat. Then one of them came to ask if there was a way to help her so she could definitely enjoy the festival. Hearing that, Alina immediately refused, knowing that somehow he would give conditions. It was indeed like that when the young man wanted to invite her on a date at this 100-year festival. She refused. How could she accept such a thing? Thinking about the pile of work. Then she had to think again. Thinking about dating and being able to go out wasn't bad. Better than having to sit and work like the past 2 years. She agreed to go out for a day with him, but only reluctantly, not because she loved him. They moaned happily together, with the spirit to finish everything before the festival started. The team started to find the bad people who spread rumors. A traveler with a special skill had just appeared. Alina had to help the team find a way to solve this problem with silver before the festival. If not, she thought, a lot of work would pile up on her head. Seeing Alina so excited, the captain was also amused. She asked about the outfit they were wearing. Then she understood they needed to disguise themselves like that, so the rumor spreaders would show up. Lai was the most unlucky one. As a mage, he had to carry a huge shield on his back because the rumor spreaders often targeted soldiers. It's a new plan, so we have to pretend like this to attract them, the captain explained. I remember when I first started this job, having a costume like this was already fun. They asked about the problem, then became quiet. The four of them stood looking from above and said, "This is a C-level dungeon for new soldiers. It's called the Eternal Forest." Later, they stopped at a lake to rest. This place is often chosen by adventurers because it is quite safe. Information about those spreading rumors also comes from this place. So, just sitting here and waiting is the most effective way to lure those bad guys out. Alina was then told by the captain, swimming from this shore to the other rock, and then back is a classic trick for adventurers. He asked her if she wanted to try it, but she refused right away. She asked him to do the job seriously, but Suez, using his monster skill, had no movement. He just turned around and saw the other two go down to play in the water. "Really are young," the captain commented. Even though the girl who was supposed to be friends with him swimming together didn't like it at first, she let him splash water on her. They joked around comfortably, making Alina not know what to say. Goat was sitting next to her, looking like he didn't know what she would be like wearing a swimsuit, imagining that scene. Then he was considered a perverted silver sword goat. Goat suddenly flew into the water, making the two younger teammates helpless. Until evening, they were still sitting and waiting for a long time. The whole group had not even lit a fire at that time. The captain also had to help Luli practice hearing. Alina was quite surprised because she thought that members who wanted to join Silver Sword had to be veteran adventurers. But the other girl said that at that time, Suza's skills were still new and unfamiliar, so everyone had to practice it. It reminded her of a long time ago, a funny scene of her friend suddenly meeting a monster and being so scared she fell to the ground and then healed herself. But now, she has become a reliable member of the team. Lai disagreed because she only had skills that were slightly stronger than normal, and she felt she herself was nothing special. The captain advised her younger teammate to just do what she thought was right, and at the same time, be more confident in herself. Right at this moment, Goat sensed someone coming and immediately informed the teammates. The team prepares. Another group of adventurers was coming, pretending that the Emperor also came here to rest. They also introduced themselves as wanting to go to the dungeons to earn more money, but it didn't last for very long, leaving only the one-eyed, one-armed adventurer who she had knocked out. Lululi realized that this was his old teammate, Aiden. When he woke up, he saw this girl in front of him and greeted her. When she asked why he spread rumors to upset people, who would dare to say that what he said was completely true? The real-life skill really did exist, just as he thought. Lulu felt she had no right to scold him. She was the one who had caused her teammates to die, making him sad. He warned her about earning money, saying if they continued to work together, they would only die because Lulu was heartless and willing to abandon teammates. He brought up old stories, and she didn't know what else to say. Alina interrupted and said that she didn't care about the matter. She asked where those weak rumor spreaders were, and said she wanted to log this guy out of the game because he dared to make her work overtime for days. Aiden was scared and begged for more time to reveal that girl's past, but she beat him unconscious. The next day, there were only 4 days left before the 100-year festival began. As usual, adventurers gathered to ask about the secret mission. Even though the rumor spreader was found, the wave of rumors they created had not died down. Because of this, the men had to work overtime. With the help of D, Lyra was surprised and asked her senior why she could ask him to help with overtime. He happily replied that in return, she would get a date with Alina at the 100-year festival. Alina asked Long if she wasn't curious about the sentence, "I'm a murderer, Quan." Of course, Long said he believed her and that it didn't matter. Pink Hair said that what Aiden had said was true. Hearing this, Alina stopped to listen to the whole story. That young man, Quan, was her first teammate long ago. That day, they reached the boss's room and went into the fight. Everyone was badly hurt, close to dying. At that time, Lulu hadn't learned the healing skill well yet. Even if she used all her magic, she could only save one person. She didn't know who to choose, so she tried to heal both of them a little bit. Because of this, both of them died. That's why she was called a murderer. Hearing this whole story, Alina understood for the first time. She comforted her friend, saying if she had been in the same situation, what would have happened? She then asked if Long still wanted to stay with her on this mission. Long and Lai thought that Pink Hair, Lulu, had a special reason for her past actions, so they still trusted her. Hearing this, Lulu smiled and said, "I also trust her, so there's no need to worry anymore. Everything will stay the same. Nothing will change." They went into the training room and saw the captain using a new skill that was extremely dangerous and fast. Goat quickly used up too much energy and passed out right there. After waking up, he said he was learning how to use skills at the same time. "Oh, who knows? If I can combine two effects, it might be twice as strong." The little sister scolded him. "Are you stupid or what to do that? Using multiple skills like that causes a lot of damage to your body." At this time, another girl named Selly came to check on him and realized Jade, Goat/Captain, was overusing skills. She called this stage 2. If he keeps going, he'll get confused and lose his senses at a higher stage. It can even lead to losing body parts and not being able to stop bleeding. Basically, he'll die. So, if you want to live long, then don't be stupid anymore. Selly continued, "Because I am the head of the Skill and Relic Research Department." She then took out the heart of the demon god and showed it to them. She explained, "See, it's black because it's filled with a lot of magic circles. According to the information we have, the demon god Siha can use 3 skills, and the more people he kills, the stronger he becomes by absorbing their souls." Siola thought, if this guy, Siha, could reach the city, humanity would surely be destroyed. Here, in the city, he could freely absorb souls and skills until no one could stop him. After questioning the person who spread the rumor, they caught her. She said the person behind it was a guy in black. Because he covered his face and whole body, it was still unclear who he was. Until evening, Alina continued to work overtime with the other one. They worked hard for a few days, and then everything was considered finished. Alina was happy because the bonus for the festival tasks was cancelled. This meant people wouldn't flock to the festival tasks like in previous years. Alina secretly thought she had won, and going to the festival was now guaranteed for her. Alina was also happy because she could go on a date after going through the hell of overtime. She even invited Jade to go drinking to forget his sadness. He was quite shocked because he knew about Alina's other domineering hobby, drinking until she was drunk. Looking at her like that, Goat secretly thought that this kind of fun was deserved because she had to work overtime continuously for the past few days. But as he was thinking of taking her home, he heard her grandmother calling his name. It seemed that Alina was mistaking Duane for her uncle who had died the day before, saying that she had become a receptionist and hoping he would come to take on the task of captain of the money-making team. But not understanding the situation clearly and thinking it was the name of a boy she was fond of, Goat also became jealous. Changing the scene to the president's place, where he unexpectedly met Jessica. It was midnight, and he asked Jessica what was the matter. She said she had found something very interesting and wanted him to investigate it immediately. The old friend realized this was the secret quest everyone was looking for. Unbelievable that Jessica got it so easily. She simply left, and when asked where she got it, Jessica replied that the information was absolutely confidential and wouldn't elaborate. Sitting and analyzing, the old man realized the secret mission wasn't hidden in the ruins as they had thought, and Jessica had brought a big trouble to them. The staff asked how to deal with it, and he decided to hide it in the deepest level of the underground Maze Association. The scene changed to the official 100-year festival, which had started. Sound and light burst out, exciting everyone. Perhaps Alina was the happiest, as after so much she finally got to go out like this. She took out her list of 100 things to do at the festival and urged Jade to hurry. He still couldn't believe he was dating a beauty, saying that just looking at her smile, he would die 1,000 times satisfied. He praised her as truly carefree, even if she was often grumpy from overtime. But every day she got to go home early to see him and be called cute. She blushed, telling him to stop flirting and that it was more important for him to help her conquer all 100 things on her list. The scene shifted to Loyal, who didn't want to go out, but instead went to the guild's dungeon to do something. In her head, Aiden's words continuously replayed. For a long time, she was tormented until someone, helpless, asked her to stop. Today is a festival. Why do you have to make yourself suffer like that? She replied she wasn't asking him to go with her, so she could play alone. He expressed worry because who would let her teammate meet that bastard Aiden alone? When questioned, Loyal didn't have much to say, but he gave his opinion that she wouldn't be able to talk to a guy who thought her teammates' deaths were because of her. She knew that too, but argued if she that had judged correctly back then or used her skills like now, maybe no one would have died. Red Hair advised that no matter what happened in the past, her current teammates were her family. They didn't consider Loyal useless, nor a murderer. Hearing that, Pink Hair thought both Lo and Goat were too kind. Before, when they first joined the team, they enthusiastically welcomed the captain and promised to stand up and protect him, so there was no need to worry about her. Pink Hair was afraid she was too useless and might lose both of them, just like when she fought the demon god. In her mind, she intended to leave this place and the team to earn money outside. Meanwhile, Alina was still running around, looking for new things. She bought all kinds of food, but still didn't feel full, even gnawing on a candied thigh, considering this a paradise. Everyone around her seemed happy and enjoying the festival. She thought she had finally won the freedom and dignity of a salaryman, and would forget all the hard overtime days to immerse herself in the atmosphere. She groaned, noting she ate so much but didn't know where the fat went, as Alina's body was very beautiful without any excess fat. She smiled, saying her digestive system was trained, so she didn't worry about overeating. Having almost finished the main dishes, she planned to have dessert and sweets in the square, mentioning a fruit shop with candied fruit that sounded interesting. Hearing this, Goat reached out his hand, making her eyes widen. He explained the square was very crowded and they might get lost, so holding hands was best, adding that cold Alina Baulak was fine too. He thought, I've always been waiting for this moment. Alina was holding food, so her hands weren't free. Now was his only chance. But in her mind, she refused, thinking back to him helping her finish her work. She felt a little embarrassed and turned away, making him think she had a stomachache and was about to buy medicine. But she pulled him back, explaining it was because Jade helped her to complete the work on time. That's why they are able to attend the festival. He stood there frozen for a moment. Returning to the other couple, they were on the 10th floor where criminals related to the guild were detained. Upon hearing Loyal's voice, the other guy immediately reacted violently, asking in a low voice, Aiden? Me? He apologized, telling her that after losing his teammates, he tried to become stronger, hoping one day to develop his skills. Even though he only had his right hand, he could still be an adventurer like before. The most hateful thing was the day he heard Loyal joined the silver-making team. He used harsh words to curse her, saying if he had the skill, the first thing he'd do was kill her for revenge. After a long silence, Lo stood up to stop this, realizing it was useless to say more. After the couple left, suddenly 2 people appeared, saying they were there to pick up important teammates. In the next scene, a few more girls would cause chaos at the festival, allowing them to escape from this place. The other couple, Alina and Jade, were still holding hands, feeling very happy. He thought his efforts had not been in vain. Alina blushed, saying this wasn't good at all. It felt like one side was useless and couldn't do anything. At this time, in the square, a clown was performing the skill of creating animal images with water, but immediately after, this guy froze all the nearby people, creating chaos. Alina was shocked because the 100-year festival was being ruined, and she hadn't even enjoyed it yet, making her very angry. The other guy seemed to enjoy his actions, but then he went crazy. Alina couldn't forgive the person who ruined her festival. She used her magic hammer and hit the clown straight in the face. The little girl went up and asked if he knew what this 100-year festival meant. He, dying, asked forgiveness and to tell his purpose, but it was too late. "Do you know Grandma has been waiting for this day for a long time?" she said, giving the finishing blow, telling him not to expect to die easily. The guards heard the noise at the festival and quickly ran to see. Inside the castle, Loyal also came out. Then the escape group appeared, 2 of them, and took out a book related to the secret mission. It was unknown how this guy knew it was hidden there. They immediately activated it. Upon opening, they discovered the designated location was in the Eternal Forest, and the completion condition was to destroy all the worms on the floors. Activating the mission in front of Alina and Dee was an invitation for the Silver Earning team to join, saying, "Come and see the revival of the demon god." Like last time. The 2 activated their teleport skill immediately. At the festival, something unexpected happened, so everything had to stop. Luckily, there was no murder yet, so Jade said, "We'll start again soon." Hearing that, Alina cried with happiness, thinking the festival would be cancelled. But at this time, the 2 younger siblings ran over to report an emergency. After learning the secret mission was activated, they had to leave their date to deal with it, knowing the demon god would appear again, and that the real purpose was most likely to revive the demon god to destroy the world. Jade told them to prepare their things to go, but turned back to tell Alina not to worry, he'd be back soon. He told Alina to continue enjoying the festival as she had worked hard until today, and thanked her for giving him the opportunity to date. Even if it was incomplete, it was already too much fun. Outside, the stores had already started to reopen. Alina hesitated, then decided to go with them, wanting to stop the demon god's resurrection. She said she didn't want Jade and everyone to die. Hearing that, Jade apologized and thanked her for the help from Executioner. A moment later, they arrived at the Eternal Forest, where it was said the demon god would appear in the hidden lair, perhaps the real dungeon of the Eternal Forest. After entering the boss's room, the group of 2 also appeared and saw Executioner was there. They showed no fear for long and used magic to hold back the 3. The 2 knew they had the advantage because if they shed blood, the demon god would be revived immediately. Red Hair's ice magic was quite special, spreading all over the body, intending to lock their target. But one person sacrificed himself to neutralize the skill for his teammates. Loyal saw this scene and was terrified, not daring to look. The 2 enemies spoke out their hatred for the one who had just died, someone born with only useless skills, unable to fight on his own, who wanted to change his fate and was ready to accept death. Aiden didn't understand anything, thinking the demon god would give him earth skills, but his real purpose was to help evil revive in its strongest form. Jade asked why he had to do such a dangerous thing. The opponent was frank, saying, "Those who are given brilliant skills like silver swords, how can they understand the pain of people like me? My skills are simply used to escape danger, nothing else. So we're gradually considered a burden in combat." Sometimes this guy wondered about the injustice of skills in this world, random power arbitrarily given. Lucky people's lives bloomed, but unlucky people like him ate shit. He also told, one day, the guy in black appeared and told him he could use absurdity and injustice to destroy the world because he hated his current life so much. He had no more worries. Just like that, he successfully revived the demon god, and was stabbed through the body before dying, begging to destroy this world too. Alina, hearing that and seeing this person, was disgusted, thinking there was only one person involved, but unexpectedly another appeared. The girl who just made a move was Vienna, and the short-haired girl was Fiona. They immediately used their chance and activated skills. Earth energy manifested, and the giant god's arrow appeared. Vienna urged her twin sister to try it. Seeing this scene, Alina was shocked. One demon god was already difficult, but now 2 of them used the same weapon. She groaned, realizing this was the ability to share. They declared, "Although we are 2, we are 1," and prepared to attack, getting ready to fight. Vienna aimed directly at the captain with the beautiful trap. Seeing that, Alina stood up to block it, and was extremely surprised because the arrow was too light. After rushing in to attack, Finna rushed out to block her. Although hit, Alina felt nothing. After defeating the remaining enemy, the twins regenerated their bodies as if nothing had happened.